Storm chances are expected for the valley. Lisa will be up pretty soon to tell us more. And NDSU students return today to campus for the first official day of move-in. Plus, flight attendants are getting a lesson on self-defense. Valley News Live at 10 starts now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Tomorrow is expected to be a first alert weather day as a chance for severe storms is expected to roll into the valley. Here's Lisa Green with an update. Hey, Lisa.
Well, good evening. It's nice and quiet out there tonight. We just saw in the Skycam view that we've got some clear skies, some really great conditions to kick off our evening tonight and overnight. It should be really pleasant. We've got those clear skies that are going to be quite enjoyable. If we can pull up our weather graphics, we can show you what we've got going on here into the day tomorrow. Here's a look at that Sunday severe risk. Again, we are looking at a slight risk in northeastern parts of South Dakota and far southern parts and southeastern parts of North Dakota, parts of the James River Valley. A step down in marginal risk for those of us up toward the Devil's Lake Basin, and then kind of a sharp drop here through Fargo-Moorhead and parts of west central Minnesota. The rest of us could see some rain, but not necessarily some severe storms. And we're looking at a level 2 out of 5 in yellow here, and that's where we're looking at that tornado threat to be isolated, pretty low end, but it's not zero, and then gusts that could be strong in damaging and hail to 1 inch in diameter. So this is what we'll be watching for tonight and into tomorrow. Right now it's pretty quiet. It's on our radar right now. We're looking at conditions across the tri-state area, looking dry out to the west into Montana. You can see some hints of green there, but it's going to be a while before we see that rain and thunder move in. So enjoy a nice quiet night tonight. Temperatures into the 50s and 60s right now. We're at 62 in Fargo, 58 in Grand Forks. And taking a look at our planner, expect temperatures to be into the 50s overnight and maybe even some of us dipping into the 40s. So a cool one. And then, of course, we cook up some storms again tomorrow as we're talking about that severe weather. We'll have details on where we can expect it and the timing coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, thanks, Lisa. The arrival of Category 1 Hurricane Henri has many on the East Coast prepping for its strike. It's posing a threat to more than 40 million people from New York City to New England. And a state of emergency has already been declared for New York. The hurricane is slated to make landfall as early as tomorrow. And the Superior National Forest closed access to the boundary waters today due to active and increasing fire activity, extreme droughts, and limited resources. The closure will be in place for 7 days and may be extended. The closure includes all waters, trails, portages, the campsite, canoe routes, and wilderness entry points in the BWCA. Permits already purchased are canceled starting today through August 27th. And more than 30 protesters were arrested yesterday outside a pipeline in northern Minnesota. Law enforcement officials say about 50 people were found trespassing and blocking the roadway of Gowen Pump Station near Floodwood. Police attempted to verbally convince protesters to leave, but many refused, including some locking themselves in a sleeping dragon style maneuver to prevent them from being removed. The summer is beginning to wane off, which means the school year is upon us. Today, students at NDSU began to move their belongings back into the dorms. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling has the story.
On a breezy August morning, students began the annual tradition of moving into the dorms. And at North Dakota State University, Cater Hall was full of sounds of new chapters beginning.
I literally consider this my favorite day of the year because we do a lot of prep work, a lot of work throughout the summer, getting ready, but we miss our students. And so to see that excitement, we know it's an emotional day for the families, but we're just terribly excited to see our students arrive and get back into the swing of things and to have that typical hum of a campus noise versus how quiet it is over the summer.
Move-in day is being affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, but some say there's a sense of normalcy as students, parents, and staff once again fill the halls for the upcoming semester.
Yeah, we couldn't do it, quite honestly, if it wasn't for the entire team. You know, our department has a number of staff that work directly with our students all year long, but specific to this day, we're very blessed that we have a ton of student volunteers.
For Nosterman and his staff, It means a lot to them to have the students back in the halls, but also to have that trust from families.
And trust is exactly the way I always describe it, is that they are entrusting one of their most valued assets to us. And I take that as a privilege, but also as a responsibility that we have to take seriously.
In Fargo, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
Concordia is the next higher ed institution in the Fargo-Moorhead area scheduled for move-in, which is set for tomorrow at 8 a.m. And the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is aiming to give full approval to Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine by Monday. Regulators were hoping to complete the process by Friday, but we're still working through a substantial amount of paperwork and negotiations with the company, according to a report by the New York Times. It had set an official deadline for approval of around Labor Day, the report said. And more nursing homes want COVID-19 vaccine for residents and staff. The U.S. Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services say there has been a recent uptick in requests for vaccine access. In the first week of August, about 150 nursing homes requested government assistance. On Wednesday, President Biden said nursing homes must have vaccination requirements in order to continue receiving Medicare and Medicaid funding. There were chaotic scenes at the evacuation of Kabul airport today. Crowds swelled around the concrete barrier surrounding the airport. Soldiers struggled to maintain calm, with thousands arriving at the airport each day to leave Afghanistan. While evacuations are continuing, some outgoing flights have been far from full because of the airport chaos, Taliban checkpoints, and bureaucratic challenges. And the Pentagon officials say they're working to speed up the evacuation effort in Afghanistan. At a briefing today, military officials say 17,000 people have already been evacuated since August 14th, including 2,500 Americans. The Pentagon says it has 5,800 troops on the ground at the airport, and if there's a need to do something else to get people to the airport, that those options would be considered.
We're going to continue to explore options to assist Americans as needed, and we will do that. We will do that here at the Pentagon if there's a need to do something different than what we are already doing to facilitate them getting into the airport. Then we'll certainly consider those options.
President Biden has set a date for August 31st to withdraw most of the U.S. troops already in Afghanistan. Later on Valley News Live at 10, flight attendants are getting a lesson in self-defense. We'll tell you why coming up.
And a calm, clear night, allowing us to take in this gorgeous view. A live shot here from a Devil's Lake of that nearly full moon. But things are changing. It's going to get rough again with that chance for some storms on Sunday. Details coming up.